Good afternoon, my friend. Today we will describe that there is any humanity in Islam. People are so obsessed that why you are telling about the Islam because you are not Muslim. What problem you have with Islam? Problem with Islam is nothing, but the problem when the Islam criticize the other religious facts and the religious followers that the non-Muslims are the kafir or wajib qatal or suitable to kill. The problem itself started or originated from the Islam, not from the side of any non-Muslim or kafir. Because Islam is such type of cult who always put the eye, put the finger in the eye of the non-Muslims due to the stupidity or violent ideology of Islam. Is Islam having humanity? Not at all. Not at all. Is the Pagambar is a kind-hearted? Not at all. Because Pagambar allows, first you must remind in your mind that there is no Allah. This Allah is fabricated story or fable story or the Chandamama story, a comic story. Because Allah was created by Muhammad Sahab himself due to his vested interest. What type of this Pagambar and Allah? Because Pagambar and Allah all are the same. Means Pagambar, Prophet is Allah and Allah is Prophet. There is no difference between Allah and Prophet because there was no Allah before the Islam. The people says that Allah is present from the beginning. This is a totally fabricated and false story of the Islam. There was no Allah. If there was Allah in the beginning of the world, then the creation of Allah is not correct. Why not correct? Where according to the Quran, earth was created by Allah first and then the sun. This is not the truth because earth was created as per Jav evolution theory later than sun. Sun is too much old or older than the moon. This is why these all the stories of Quran and Islam only fabricated falsehood, and the people are following such type of stories. I am very astonished that these people mortgage their brains or their logics where in the darkness of Iman, that is known as Iman, or faith, without any logics. Because there is no logics in Islam, and Islam does not allow to any logic. So, because so many cruelty or brutality against the kafir has been described in Quran, so Islam is not with human or in rather we can say the Islam in human in nature. You see, when the Allah has allowed the looted or robbery of the wealth of the non-Muslims, the looted the women of the non-Muslims, and the looted the or enslaved the children and the men of the non-Muslims and looted the wealth of their worship place is permitted by Allah according to Islam. So, how we can say this Islam is a religion of peace? It is not a religion of PEACE, but it is the religion of PIEC. Every Muslim wants to be the savior of non-Muslims or kafir because every Mu'min who was following this ideology of Islam, that is violent ideology, is pretending that he will be the savior of non-Muslims. This is why the Prophet Muhammad Sahib imposed jizya tax on the non-Muslims. in the Islamic countries. The jizya is a tax, extortion, hafta wasuli, or tax of goonism, as did or are doing these mafias as Dawood Ibrahim, Ravi Pujari, Chota Rajan, and all the goons which are taking extortion money. In Islam, this money is known as jizya tax. Where there in Islam there is a jizya tax or extortion state, how this cult can be a good cult and the how this Allah or Prophet can be a good person. Even the Muhammad Ibn Abdullah, the Prophet, is below than the ordinary person. He looted the wealth of the Abu Sufyan and Jewish tribe and caravans. He looted many caravans. He looted women. He looted many synagogues, churches, and after that the Zoroastrian fire temples due to only this violent ideology of Islam. So we cannot say the Islam is the religion of peace, but is the religion of PIECE, means tukde tukde gang, had seen in India when the Sign Bagh protestation was going on. This tukde tukde gang was also screaming that the Bharat tere tukde honge हजार means India will be disintegrated in many parts because Islam itself disintegrated the humanity and the human values. Islam is pro inhuman values and provokes the violent ideology against the humanity. Due to the stupidity or foolishness of Muhammad, because he was narcissist, pedophilic, means he was habitual with sex with the babies. You see, Aisha was consummated Prophet Muhammad Sahib when she was only 9 years old. And the many moments are defending the Prophet Muhammad Sahib by their ridiculous thoughts that at that time the Aisha was so strong at the age of 9. He was 10 feet in height. There is no evidences that the people would be grow up to 10 feet high. The tallest man of our history at the Robert Pershing Wardlow, he was 8 foot 11 and a half inches tall. So this is all fabricated and false stories regarding the Quran. Aisha was consummated Muhammad Sahib, and this disease is known as pedophile, means who that person who did sex with the Aisha was pedophile. Pedophile. He was the mentally disordered person. He was a narcissist. Prophet Muhammad was the patient of epilepsy or mirgi. So he was doing the same as which was in favor of him. He killed so many women also. He killed the Asma bin Barwat, and one woman was torn out with the help of the two animals. The one leg tied with the one camel, and the second leg tied with the second camel on the opposite direction. And he started push back to the camels to walk on the opposite direction, and the whole body, her whole body was uh, distributed in two halves, and this brutality was done by these Kashmiri militant when a Gerija Takku was cut it into two halves by the Arab machine. So, what did commit Prophet Muhammad Sahib? The evil deeds. These evil deeds were also committed by the militants, Kashmiri militants, because Islam propagated the violent ideology of terrorism. Islam cannot bear or cannot absorb the non-Muslims. The Islam is a full vessel of the hate, or we can say this such type of vessel that our Mumini brothers put into uh, their heads in this vessel, and he cannot sing nothing. What is the right, what is the wrong? Islam is a darkest part of the humanity. And the YouTube hate policy is very ridiculous. When we are stating the same version of the Quran, they are saying that you are spreading the YouTube hate. But what has been written in Quran by the Muhammad Sahib and his companions is not spreading the hates. This is the descriptive hate. Quran is the descripted or written documentation of the spreading the hate and inhuman values among the people. This is why it is very ridiculous that the policy of YouTube is totally stupidity, and the many stupid people are working in this YouTube channel. This is our right. This is our right that we have to protest against this policy of YouTube. This is very discriminatory policy that the all ex-Muslim channels and the non-Muslim channels are taking the strikes from the YouTube side, but they never strike those channels who are propagating or provoking or perpetrating the hate of the Quran and the Islam, because any Islamic channel will describe the same as is written in Quran and Hadith. And this Quran and Hadith is a totally are the bundle of hates, and they are spreading hates. All the Maulanas are spreading the hates because there is no. Allah is very cruel. Who says that Allah very kind hearted? These all Maulanas are liars, because there is no lies, Islam dies. These or Maulanas are screaming or shouting that Allah is kind-hearted, but or Prophet is kind-hearted. But seeing the evil deeds of Prophet Muhammad Sahib, we cannot say he was kind-hearted, but he was the lustful man. He was the greedy, self-indulgence, and he was the cruel, killer, rapist. All the evil deeds which was committed by Prophet Muhammad, it proven that he was not a good person, but he was a rogue person. He was the monster who the deteriorated the humanity or provoked the inhuman values throughout the society. And it is very amazing, very ridiculous when the Prophet Muhammad had been died 1400 years ago, how he came with in the war with against the Hindus in the Ghazwa Hind. It's a totally fabricated story, and these moments who are following this story is totally living in fool's paradise. They are they are making or building the castle in the air. So these this group of stupids are only doing them too much stupidity. We cannot prevent this stupidity until then we will show them the light or enlightened their path, means to disclose the evil deeds of the Prophet Muhammad and the most brutal killing by Prophet Muhammad his companions. So how can be the Islam and the Muslims can be kind-hearted? Because Pagambar and Allah is very cruel against the non-Muslims. So this is the false and fabricated story that Islam has some human values. No, not at all. Islam has inhuman values, brutality, clings, rapes. This book full of the pornography and criminology. Because you see, Muhammad uh, took two women as a gifted woman, Mariel Kibatia, and he raped Mariel Kibatia, and just like a sex slave. This is the character of Muhammad Sahib. So we cannot say that Muhammad was a good person. He was just below an ordinary person. Though the statement of Muhammad Sahib is that the kafir is below the beast. I think this is the reversal process. This is suitable Prophet Muhammad Sahib because his deeds was so filthy that every logical person or intelligent person will hate such type of ordinary person who is so called self-style prophet in the history Islam. People say that we should follow the sunnat or education the Prophet Muhammad Sahib. Any man any man can follow the Prophet Muhammad Sahib that he was the rapist. He committed rape with Safiya bint Huyaya after killing her father and her husband Kinana al Rabi. And on the same night, so-called Prophet Muhammad raped with Safiya bint Huyaya. This is not the work of a good person. This is the work of a very filthy person or a very rogue person who क्यों such type of the crime is under the uh, brutal or evil deeds or evil sins, or only rogue person can do such type of acting or mischievous activities. So Prophet Muhammad did such type of mischievous activities. He did rape with Safiya and Maria al-Kibatia. So we cannot say that the Prophet was the kind-hearted, Allah is the kind-hearted. We cannot blame on Allah because Allah was not itself. He was created by Prophet Muhammad Sahib. And this all cunningness is belong to the brain of Prophet Muhammad Sahib. There was no Allah because Allah does not know how is the creation. According to Allah, earth is flat, but this is not true. Earth is round and moving around the sun. But Allah is saying that earth not is moving, but earth is static and sun is moving around the earth. This is the false and fabrication story which was committed by Prophet Muhammad Sahib or perpetrated by Prophet Muhammad Sahib. He provoked the violence against the non-Muslim due to his personal interest or vested interest because he was so greedy that he took all the wealth from the Jews and the caravans after looting. He robbed so many caravans. This Prophet Muhammad Sahib was a robber. And in Islam, it is very ridiculous and amazing that this loot is certified or permitted in Islam as a mali ganimat. So this is the real character of Islam, and Prophet Muhammad Sahib will come when the Ghazwa Hind will happen. There is no chance to any Ghazwa Hind because Muhammad burns or fossilization under the process of fossilization. His flesh decomposed totally, and all the bacteria and virus would be it would be eaten or would be engulf his all body because the bones cannot be deteriorated, but fossilization of bomb still is in process. If you dig out the grave of the Prophet Muhammad, there was nothing, only a skeleton of Prophet Muhammad is lying there. So there is no possibility that he will alive because resurrection or Qayamat is totally false expectation of Islam. This is the Tom and Jerry story, Chanda Mama Champak. And the Quran is a comic story, including the pornography, brutality, and the robbery. So we should imagine how such type of Allah can be a kind-hearted, though that Allah is allowing to kill the non-Muslims and looting the wealth of the non-Muslims and looting the women and allowed to the rapes with the kafir or non-Muslim women. such type of prophet of Islam having, it is very same. These peoples are very shameless, which are following the such prophet. I hate such type of prophet who committed so many rapes with the Jewish woman Safiya Juwaria, so many, um, and the 10 wives and the 4 gifted women, Mariel Kebatia Sirin. So such type of the character cannot such type of a character cannot be a character of prophet. He was the self-styled prophet. He was very very cunning. He was very very brutal, killer, rapist, only due to his vested interest. The companions of Muhammad Sahib and Muhammad itself, himself, was indulged in the fulfill their lust, looting the woman and their sex slavery. Due to the sex slavery, they fulfill their lust. And the Muslims are saying that Muhammad free many slaves. But why he he did not release the Maria Alikebatia, who was the gifted woman of the Coptic Christian. So this was this to when I never read the Quran, I thought that Quran is a good book and it reflects the humanity or human values. But when I read Quran, I hate the Quran and its prophet, which was Prophet Muhammad bin Abdullah. He created so much filthiness, so much cruelty, so much blender of the scientific. So we can say the Quran is also a book of scientific error. There are so many scientific error in Quran. As for example, that earth is flat, earth is moving, not moving, but static, and the sun moving around the earth. How it is possible when the moon and sun are revolving or moving around the earth? There is any possibility the eclipse? No, not at all. So this the fundamental of Islam uh, proves that this book is not a book which was written by a scholar, but this book is written by only laymen or the illiterate peoples. The Muhammad was himself was illiterate, having no value of value of humanity. He was illiterate layman and having a very low, though his IQ was too much, because he was so cunning that all the evil deeds and all the crimes he fin- he find that this all crimes committed by us, this is not the crime, these are not the crimes, but this is due to because Allah allows us to such type of crime. Because if the Muslim can kill the kafir, he will go in hell, he will go in heaven or Jannah. So this false expectation of Quran and the followers, the stupidness of the followers of the Islam are creating is creating nuisance and havoc in this world. And the western people must think that suppose you are liberal, the Hindus are liberals, the Christian are liberals, or the western people are liberals, but Islam is not liberal. If you love the Muslim, certainly you are good person, but Islam does not allow to love with the non-Muslims, because so many Quranic verses stated that there is no chance to make a friend who is non-Muslim. This is order of Prophet Muhammad Sahib, not order of Allah, because there is no Allah. Allah is only false. False. Allah is false. Created by Allah is the creation of Muhammad Sahib. Allah, Allah, Allah kill. Allah created nothing, but the Muhammad created Allah. So Allah is not powerful than to the Prophet Muhammad Sahib. Muhammad Sahib, the Prophet, as compared to Allah, Allah is very weak, because Allah created by Prophet his own mind to his vested interest. So many Quranic verses prohibited or restrict the friendship of the Muslim with a non-Muslim. So how can the brotherhood throughout the world with Muslim cannot be possible? Because in Islam there is no space or there is no concept of brotherhood with non-Muslims. So Bhaichara in India and the Ganga Jamni Tehzeeb, this is only the false propaganda to befooling the Hindus, or Hindus are befooling by the so-called secular leader as Mulayam Singh Adar. All the secular leader of India are the worst and filthy enemy of Hindus. We Hindus must think that, and to such appeal to all my Western people, Christians, that those leaders which are screaming that there must be friendship or brotherhood with Muslims, it is not possible. They are telling lie, because in Islam there is no concept of the brotherhood or friendship with the Christians, Jews, Hindus, etc. So we must aware the what is the theology or doctrine of Islam. This is the one way traffic cannot be run. Because if you are kind hearted, you are kafir, then you cannot be a friend of Muslim. Suppose if he is pretending that you are my brother or you are my friend, he is pretending or feigning. Because when the Muslims will be in power, they will cut your necks. This is the Islam. Islam allows the cheating, and Prophet Muhammad Sahib himself also allow cheating to kill a Ka'b bin Ashraf. This is described in Hadith, Muqsar, Sahih Bukhari, and the Sahih Muslim. So, who says the Islam of peace of religion? Nothing, not as 100% Islam is a killing machine of non-Muslims or kafir. And 100% Islam has the stupidity with the science, because many scientific errors are inhibiting in this Islam. In Islam, the creation of earth is before the sun, but this is not true. Sun was created, or by Big Bang theory was manufactured before the earth. Earth is created later on by the Big Bang theory, or maybe any scientific method, but it is clear that earth was created by later, many years later. But in Islam, the earth is created by Allah very first, and after that, on the fourth day, sun. It is possible that how is the big these uh, uh, sun and earth can be made in so much tiny time. This is all false expectation, because there was no Allah before the 14 years ago. This is where the Allah, where any Muslim before the Islam, Muhammad Sahib? Nothing, not at all. Then how it is possible? Where was the Allah at that time? Why the Paigambar came so late? Only 1400 years ago. Why the Jesus and the Moses came first? Though Moses cannot be, it cannot be said that Moses was present or not. This is only false story. Yes, Jesus was there. In many Christian jurisprudence, it is correct that Jesus was born. But Moses, Abraham, Ismail, that's all the fabricated story, and these story uh, are uh, are taken by the Babylonian stories, as the Khatna or circumcise is coming from the Babo- Babylonian kingdom, and after that it came to Yehudi, Jews, and after that it came to the Islam. The Khatna or circumcision was the prime part of the Islam. So people who are saying that Islam is a piece of religion, they are greatest liar of this world. The all Islamic clerics are greatest liars. There is no Allah. I challenge to all the Islamic scholars. that if they can prove that there is Allah, I will prove that there is no Allah. But Allah is created by Prophet Muhammad Sai for fulfilling his lust and the robbery, looting the wealth of the non-Muslim. He was so greedy and self-indulgence, so self-indulgent that he commit all the dreadful crimes, the rapes, robbery, killings, looted the wealth of the Jews caravans, and he was so cunning that he made Allah for his defense, and he stated or befooled the Muslims or the Arabic people at that time that I am not doing, I am the same doing which was allowed by Allah to send so many verses. This is the false. There was no verses came from the side of Allah because there is no Allah. Then there is no question arise that the verses of Quran sent by Allah to Prophet Muhammad Sahib. This is the brain theory of Prophet Muhammad Sahib. Mikhail, he stolen from the Bible and the Torah because Gabriel was there, so Gabriel converted into Jibrail, Michael converted into Mikhail, Moses converted into Musa. All the persons, all the character of the Bible and the Torah were stolen by Prophet Muhammad Sahib and put them into the Quran. This is the cunningness of Prophet Muhammad Sahib. He showed the Muslims or his followers that all these prophets with me, and I am the last prophet. He was the self-styled prophet who devastated or deteriorated the all harmony among the Jews, Christians, and other non-Muslims. He devastated the harmony of the world, and which we are feeling or which are bearing such cruelty of the Islam without any our fault. There is no fault of the kafirs. Only fault is that they are not Muslim and they are not following the Quran, Allah, and Muhammad Sahib. Why a kafir can follow the stupidity of Allah and Prophet Muhammad Sahib? That there is a 7 skies, and then Allah has no body. Then how he can sit on the throne without any body, no pelvic girdle, no pectoral girdle, without hand? So this stupidity will not be followed by any kafir. And even the intelligent Muslim are leaving the Islam to seeing that this stupidity. All the false fabricated story were put it into this Quran and stolen from the Bible and Torah. In the last, I would like to say that this Quran is totally bundle of false stories. Thank you very much. See you.